before she'd even asked him for it. Little stacks of bills on his paydays, which Lettie stashed under a loose floorboard of her apartment. She knew it was shame that drove him to pay her, but she did not care. It was the least he could do. "Game over, Zacarias," Lettie said, fighting a yawn. "Enough, por favor." She was too tired for childish play tonight. But there was no Zacarias jumping to his feet and yelling, "Surprise!" Always the joker, always the clown. Louder. "Zack!" The American name he'd insisted she use, especially when they were around the rich white people who put food in Lettie's and Andres's mouths, roofs over their heads. The bosses, who did not know her brother was a bastard with a Mexican mother. "You stop this playing right now, Zacarias." Firmly, this is how her bosses spoke when they sent their spoiled children to a timeout. Many of these same rich white women stayed thin and hard by exercising at this gym. How amused they would be, Lettie thought, to see their handsome trainer, Coach Zack, acting so silly. One of her brother's hands was stretched out, and just past his fingertips was that damn prayer book he carried everywhere, often tucking it in the waistband of his shorts when he lifted weights. That show-off, wanting the world to believe he was as pious as a monk. How many times had Lettie called his name, Zacarias, before he lifted his face from the smudged pages, blinking at her, dazed. How he loved his lady saints, almost as much, Lettie thought, as the many ladies he'd loved in the flesh. She counted to 10, waiting to see his wide, muscled chest fill with breath. Nothing. Something was wrong. A loosening spread low in her belly. She knelt on the spongy floor of the gym and placed a hand on her brother's chest. Waited. Prayed his chest would rise and fall, just as she had the first night her Andres had returned from the hospital after the accident. She had slept on the floor by her son's bed, startling herself awake to check he was breathing, thanking the Virgin when his tiny chest trembled like a baby bird's. Lettie pounded on the place where she guessed her brother's heart might lie, using both her fists, begging him to breathe, wake up, rise, move. She shouted prayers to the saints he had loved. "Oh, Santa Teresita del Niño Jesús, por favor, please, please." How could they abandon him, abandon her? Now. Frantic, she rolled him onto his side. A puddle seeped out from his gym shorts. She smelled the stink. He had shit himself. The cheeseburger she'd eaten at lunch rose in her stomach. She made it to the bathroom just in time. She heaved long after her stomach was empty, losing control of her bladder. Her pant legs were heavy with warm piss. So many messes to clean now. Her own face in the bathroom mirror was pale like her brother's, as frightened as a child's, reminding her of Andres, who, at that moment, was sound asleep in her car parked in front of Color Theory Fitness. Only a few steps away from where his beloved Tío Zacarias lay on the floor of the gym, the blue band looped around his neck. Lettie knew what she had to do. There were no choices for people like her, no open doors, only deportation. She had just 3 more days before the immigration police took her to the facility, where she would be forced to stay until they shipped her back to Mexico, leaving Andres behind, without a mother, and now without Zacarias. That Andres would still have his uncle had been Lettie's only consolation. She ran to the gym's front door and bolted it, pulled down the blackout shades that covered the storefront window, locked the second door that led from the reception desk to the exercise studio. She found the container of powdered bleach in the bucket of cleaning supplies she used to wipe away the sweat left on the foam mats, weights, and